Hello boys and girls, welcome to Mrs. Bandu's Math Movies. This is for Algebra Lesson 6-2, slope-intercept form. We're going to write linear equations in slope-intercept form and graph linear equations. Okay, so here we go. Slope-intercept form of a linear equation is y equals mx plus b, where m represents the slope and the b is the y-intercept. The x and y here are any point that lies on that line. Okay? So if you're wondering what the x and y stand for, that would be ordered pairs. All right, a linear equation is a function that graphs as a line, hence linear. Okay. The y-intercept is the y-coordinate of the point where a line crosses the y-axis. Okay. So again, this y equals mx plus b. Memorize that. Memorize that m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. This is probably the most commonly, or one of the most commonly used formats for writing the equation of a line. So, anyway. Alright, so let's look and see what we have here. Identifying slope and y-intercept. What are the slope and y-intercept of y equals 2x minus 3? So we think of the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. M is 2, b is negative 3. So the slope here is 2, the y-intercept is negative 3. Remember, we want to think of this as plus negative 3 by definition of subtraction. You will be well served to remember that, because this will mess you up a little bit if you're not very careful with it. Okay? So once an equation is in this form, it's quite easy to pick out the slope and the y-intercept. So that's what the first few quick checks are asking you to do. As always, you can do it right now, or you can come back and do it a little bit later. I'm going to continue moving on. And it asks us to write an equation from a graph. Okay, write the equation for the line. So we have a line here for us. We have a couple of steps here. We need to, first of all, find the slope. 2 points on the line are 0, 1, and 3, negative 1. Okay, we're going to do it by computation, although you could also do it by counting, because it is in fact given a graph. So we're going to do, this is the x1, y1, and x2, y2, just because I'm writing the example and that's my choice. Okay, so I'm going to say negative 1 minus 1, negative 1 minus 1, and 3 minus 0. Okay, so negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. 3 minus 0 is 3. So I believe that my slope is negative 2/3. I'm going to check it out here. I see that this is a negative slope. It's falling. And that would be down 2, which is negative 2, right 3. 1, 2, 3. So negative 2 over 3, it checks. Okay. So that was just practice doing it with points. Again, in a given situation, if you can count the slope, use it, because that's efficient. I would do it. Okay, write an equation in the slope-intercept form. The y-intercept is 1. I can tell that by looking at the graph over here. Also, because I have an ordered pair where x is 0 and y is something else, and y is going to be, the y-coordinate is going to be the y-intercept. So y equals mx plus b, so negative 2/3 is the slope, plus 1. Okay, so we're going to substitute in negative 2/3 for m and 1 for b. Okay, again, the y-intercept here is where it crosses the y-axis. Its coordinates are always going to be 0, something, and this is going to be your y-intercept. Okay. All right, now, graph equations. We want to graph y equals let me start again. Graph y equals 1/3 x minus 2. So, again, using the y equals mx plus b, this is going to be very helpful. The y-intercept is negative 2. So I'm going to plot a point at 0, negative 2. So 0, negative 2. Plot your point. Now don't make a huge honking point, because then you're not going to be able to graph accurately. I'm exaggerating just a bit so that you can see it. But, okay, the slope, okay, here's b, here's my slope. The slope is 1/3. So use the slope to plot a second point. So remember, rise over run. So up 1. So from here I'm going to go up 1 and right 3. 1, 2, 3. Here's the second point. I could also do the opposite of both of these. I could go 1 down and 3 left. That still gives me my slope of 1/3. Okay, this, you have your 2 lines, which really, if you're careful, is enough in this case. And go ahead, I have 3 because I showed you how you could do the other one. And you want to connect them with a straight edge and put your little arrows so we indicate that it is in fact a line going through those points. And that's that. It's pretty simple. Pretty straightforward. Again, easy but important. Okay, next one, applying slope-intercept form. The base pay for a used car salesperson is $300 per week. The salesperson also earns 15% commission on sales. The equation T equals 300 plus 0.15s relates total earnings to sales, S. Graph the equation. So identify the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, here my slope is 0.15. And then I'm going to put my S here, even though my slope is 0.5. And the y-intercept is 300. Okay? So sometimes it's not going to be in that perfect format for you, y equals mx plus b. So if this is y equals, this is going to be my b plus mx. Okay, so I have to adjust it just a bit. Better, and it's usually a good idea to rewrite it so you don't get confused. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is first plot a point at the y-intercept. Okay, so the y-intercept is 300, so that's going to be, remember, that's 0, 300. So right here is my point. Then I'm going to use slope to plot a second point. So the slope is 0.1500, okay? So that gives me 15 over 100. So we're going to plot a second point 15 units above 100 points. Okay, so here is 100. So, hang on here. Plot a second point 15 units above and 100 units to the right. Okay, so now I have to look at my scales. 5, 10, 15, and then 100 to the right. That's 25, 50, 75, 100. It's a little confusing because these aren't counting by ones. So you want to be careful what you're doing there. You might want to take a moment to look back through this, pause and look back and process the information, even when I'm going through it the second time. It's not hard, really. Again, You just really have to be very careful that you're paying careful attention to the details of everything that you're doing. Okay, and then there would be that. Okay. All right, and you also have a quick check that is going to be similar to this down here. You're going to be able to pick your own scales for each of these, so choose wisely. Be sure you're doing it in pencil so that if you mess up, you can fix it. It may take a little bit of adjusting on your part. Anyway, have these ready for discussion next time we meet, and I look forward to seeing you then. Also, bring in any questions you might have.